Eagle Rental is your secret weapon for conquering any project, from fixing a fence to building a fortress. Need tools? Well, they got more than a hardware store on steroids. Need some advice? Their team dishes out pro tips faster than you can say, how's this thing work? Whether you're a DIY daredevil or a pro with a plan, Eagle Rental ensures you got the right gear and the know-how to crush it. Skip the guesswork. Eagle Rental has your back and your project. In Statesville and Troutman, Eagle Rental.
Real Country is 550 AM WAME, 92.9 W225BD, Statesville.
With SRN News, I'm Rich Thomason in Washington. Venezuela has released a number of political prisoners and activists. As a result, President Trump says there will be no second wave of attacks on Venezuela. President Trump will be meeting today with top energy industry executives at the White House. They'll discuss investment to revive oil-rich Venezuela's long-neglected energy infrastructure. The Trump administration's commitment to enforcing federal immigration law and the tragic shootings that have occurred are fueling protests in a number of blue cities, including Portland, Oregon, and Minneapolis. Vice President Vance says the woman who was fatally shot by an ICE agent in Minneapolis was a victim of left-wing ideology. Watching Wall Street this morning, the Dow is down about 15 points, while the NASDAQ is up 37. More details, srnnews.com.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. Did you buy a timeshare because they told you it was a great investment? That's a lie. Most timeshares can be bought online for $1. To find out what your timeshare is worth and to cancel it, call us today and we'll send you our timeshare exit kit free with all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley for your free exit info guide. 800-893-2288. That's 800-893-2288.
You still thinking job change in the new year?
Yeah, I need something that's in high demand and more stable in this economy.
IT?
Yeah, cybersecurity, maybe even AI.
That's what I did.
Really? How?
Went to My Computer Career. You don't need any prior experience, and you could start your new career in a matter of months. A lot of IT pros go to school there, too, to level up.
Sweet. Are classes online or on campus?
Both.
Well, I'll check it out. Thanks.
Make this your year. Take the free career evaluation now at mycomputercareer.edu. An Elite CompTIA certification partner.
Financial aid is available to those who qualify, including via...
The following program is a paid advertisement and does not necessarily represent the views, opinions, or endorsements of Signal Hill Media Partners, its affiliate stations, or its advertisers.
Say what you want.
Welcome to We're Just Sayin' with Senator Vickie Sawyer and co-host David Coble. Join them each week as they provide the latest updates on legislation affecting North Carolina, from breaking down key bills to answering your live call-in questions. Senator Sawyer and David engage in meaningful conversations on the issues that matter most to our state. No matter your political affiliation, We're Just Sayin' keeps you informed and involved in the efforts to make North Carolina a better place for everyone. Welcome to the conversation.
Good morning, everyone, and Happy New Year for the 2026 All-Star session of We're Just Saying with Senator Vickie Sawyer and David. Like to be part of the show, 704-873-9929. Merry New Year, Senator Sawyer.
Merry New Year, and welcome back, David.
Well, thank you very much. I have been away for a fairly extended period of time.
Well, not without cause. So I was going to rib you a little bit and have some good-natured fun, but quite frankly, I'm just so grateful you're back that I can't say anything negative.
Aw, you're sweet.
I am. I'm very grateful.
Did I mention I'm not here next week? Sorry. But hopefully that's less. But I'm remediating next week. I'm remediating next week what has kept me away for the last little bit. I'm having my knee surgery. I'm having that. I've got a lateral and a medial tear in my meniscus. Have been trying to get through to get surgery. A couple of weeks ago was getting ready to go. Then my right knee, I'm falling apart. I'm a total basket case, and my right knee swelled up.
Well, we knew that internally. I just didn't know that
but I had the physical physical manifestation of it going on.
Yeah.
And so
the
my
demons trying to get out.
They were the demons. You know, I have a lot of them, a lot of inner demons. And knee swelled up, went and couldn't walk on it. Went to the surgery center. My poor wife, you know, who has been an absolute saint.
Whom I sent a very nice care package.
Yes, thank you very much.
I felt so bad for her. I could care less about you.
Yes.
I was worried about the health and welfare of your wife, Amanda.
Yes, I am not easy to deal with. Now, I'm not man cold bad, but when it came to the issues I was having with my knees, it was rough on her. It was rough on her.
Question: next week?
Yes.
Is that the surgery?
Yes, next week is the surgery on my knee.
So you're excused.
Yes.
What day?
That is Thursday next week.
Okay.
So then I should be up and walking around the following week. I will plan to be here. I should be good to go.
I mean, I'm going to have to dock your pay.
Yes.
If you continue to miss. I mean, the whole month of December, you were gone.
I was.
We had some very mean hate mail come in because apparently I'm just not funny if I don't have David. I would like people to say that.
That's not true.
Yes, it is. I think it is. It's kind of like peanut butter and jelly.
Is it PB&J? Peas and carrots?
Peas and carrots. So I'm glad you're back.
Well, I'm glad.
And I do genuinely hope and wish you all the well for your surgery.
Well,
I know you've been suffering with this since October. It's been very tough for you. And God bless Amanda.
Yes, God bless my wife. Honestly, this is more for my wife than it is for me at the end of the day because she needs a break from having to bring stuff up the steps to me while I sit unable to move because it's too painful to walk. But it's actually but there's so much that's been going on, you know, through Christmas, through New Year's. Hopefully you rang in the new year in fantastic fashion.
Yeah, I did. We had a fire out in the back pit, in the backyard. Had some friends over. Just had a great time.
Now, did you make it to midnight?
I did make it to midnight.
Very nice.
I did barely, but I did.
Yep, made it to midnight, and then by 12:15, I was asleep. It was fantastic.
That's about me too. Yeah.
Sorry, I kind of missed the day though when we used to have younger kids when we did the fake ball drop, like at 9 o'clock to get them to go to bed. Like Happy New Year, time to go to bed, and like they couldn't tell time yet, so I couldn't be the only one that did that, right?
Yes, I think so.
No, other people do fake ball drop too. Other people do it.
Do they really?
I guarantee. Call in, email in, or post on Facebook. I guarantee you, other people do fake ball drops. I guarantee you it happens.
All right, I guess it makes sense. I guess it makes sense because cranky kids in the morning are not the best.
No, they're definitely not. And part of the problem is that I need them to sleep because I need my sleep, and so. But that was why he's like, I wouldn't even make it to midnight when we did that. Now I don't care. They're not dependent upon me anymore, which is fantastic. Well, they are. They're dependent upon my money.
Correct.
They're dependent on my money.
100%.
They can feed themselves. They can bathe themselves. They can entertain themselves after they wake up in the morning. I am no longer needed for those things. I'm just needed for the roof over their head and the money that I buy their food with. That's really what I'm there for.
Yeah. And I mean, emotional support and love every once in a while.
Every once in a while. You know, I try to be there for them.
Yeah.
But it's so funny because, like, you know, I've been going through, and it's like as I've been gone, there's been like so many like things happening. It's like, oh, I wish we could talk about that. I wish we could talk about that because there's been. But I have during my time off.
Yeah.
I did do a lot of thinking, and I have a business proposition for us for 2026.
I'm excited.
I think we'll make a killing. I think you and I should open some daycare centers. I think we should open some Leering centers. I think we should open up some Leering centers because it is clearly not hard to open up these Leering centers and get just a boatload of government funding for them. And if we need somebody, to front it so that we're not, the face of it, I'm sure we can find somebody. Yeah. I'm sure there's one or two people that would love to get out of Minnesota and come here and front it for us. So, I mean, I think it's a golden opportunity. Like, not since Facebook have we had this kind of opportunity. You and me, Leering centers all across North Carolina.
It will be able to teach those wonderful children.
And we could call them We're Just Leering.
Oh, see, there you go.
Right there. See, trademark, copyrighted, done and done. We're Just Leering daycare centers. But no, it's just so crazy.
Yeah.
Like, I really feel like I'm in the Twilight Zone.
I know.
Watching what's going on in Minnesota. And yesterday there was, I think it was yesterday, there was a shooting in Minnesota. There was an ICE agent, a lady who, more information has been coming out, but apparently she's part of an ICE tracking group, had been following them around and everything like that. There was a stalled vehicle, ICE vehicle, whatever like that. She went around them and ended up sliding a little bit. They came up, they told her to get out of the car. An ICE agent came around. She hit the gas, rammed him with her vehicle. He shot as he's supposed to do, self-defense. That's what they're trained to do. Tragically, she died. You don't want anybody to die. Yeah. But this was inevitable. Something like this happening in my mind. Sure. Because you see between the rhetoric, between the people, the deliberate agitators, I think many of them are probably paid to be doing this. Yeah. This type of thing was inevitable.
So when I see these type of events, I'm always curious as to what the motivator is for the person who was in the car that was chasing the ICE. I mean, do they think we're like, they're going to lead like the Bolshevik revolution against Trump because he's like this ruling class oligarchy back and we're going to have this whole new day and order because they're going to be able to ignite energy around this stuff. I mean, seriously, like I guess that's kind of deep on that, but what is the motivation for people who are working actively against law enforcement, who are doing and making sure there's law and order in our state?
I have no idea.
Country. Like, what is the motivation? I mean, what do they think?
I think if I don't, honestly, I'm not in that mindset. I don't know what they think. I mean, I think many of them, here's what I think. I think many of them are, and I see this on my Facebook page with people that post and things like that. There is a legitimate segment of the far left and the moderate left, I would say, that is completely delusional. Trump derangement syndrome is real. Yeah, it is absolutely real. And I think that they firmly believe what they have been fed by many in the Democratic leadership, that we are a fascist country. Trump is an authoritarian leader. ICE is the Gestapo. That we're violating law after law after law. I believe they genuinely believe that. And as such, their actions are reflecting what they genuinely believe. Well, and then I think there's another segment that are paid to do that. Yeah. And they're the ones who do this stuff and then, let someone out of the car so they can film them doing it. Those are the ones that are a little disingenuous. I think they want their 10 minutes of fame. I think they want to go viral. I think they want a virtue signal. I think that they want to be, cheered by those around them. And Minneapolis is Minnesota's a far left. Yeah. Has been. I mean, to tell you how far left Minnesota is, it's the only state that voted for Walter Mondale against Ronald Reagan. The only state, right? And so that they've been cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs for a very long time in Minnesota, okay? But I genuinely think that a lot of these people believe the rhetoric that's coming out, and I believe that the Democratic leadership, the Chuck Schumers, the AOCs, the Jasmine Crockett's, and the Hakeem Jeffries, the Nancy Pelosi's, they are responsible for what is happening here with the far left today. It is their rhetoric that drives them. It is their words that motivate them, and I think they are genuinely responsible for this. And that woman's death in Minnesota should be on their conscience, not ICE's conscience.
It kind of again, maybe I'm just in an introspective moment because I've been killing it in 2026 so far. I've gotten 5 days of like healthy, clean living and walking and meditation and movement and all that other stuff. So yay me for the first 5 days. But I guess what really is bothering me about this is as we continue to regionalize our politics, where the far left controls very, very urban centers, and then the moderates are outside, and then the in country areas is Republican or to the center. I mean, does this set us up for a civil war? As we continue to pull further and further apart and get bluer and redder, whatever that means, but definitely by geography, where is the breaking point? And is that one of the motivations behind these people? Now, I will say that I'm going to vote for our side because I've seen what country boys can do. Now, middle-aged women like me who are running around with their, with their phones and trying to, confront ICE. I'm not going to put the bet on us. I'll put the bet on those country boys and they will survive. But I do really worry about what this looks like moving forward in the next 20 years, especially with AI revolution and evolution, and where do we go forward? And I guess that's maybe a little too deep for a fun radio show, but it is things that kind of haunt me when I see certain things like this happen in Minnesota, the Somali thing, AOC, the New York mayor, the Portland mayor. I mean, that is really scary to see that these type of people with those ideology can win in a populous area like that. And what does that mean? I mean, obviously, we have to, I don't know who's going to figure it out, but it just seems like it's getting more and more divisive. And I'm concerned that it's going to hurt us the next 10 to 20 years.
Well, I think that, I agree. And I don't know that we would ever see another civil war in the sense of what we saw, way back then, where, I do think that we are going to continue to become more segmented, more gentrified. I think you are going to continue to see cities become more and more and more left, more and more Democrat, and you are going to see more and more people who are moderate to conservative move out of them. I think you will see, where the more populous areas are going to be more and more blue. And as you get out, and I think you're going to continue to see more battles, not necessarily with weapons or fights or anything like that, but policy-wise, gerrymandering, redrawing districts, things like that. I think you will see more and more policy fights that maybe, even 10 years ago we would not have seen. More common sense would have prevailed. I think we're going to see, I think the battle is going to be waged in policy and law and things like that. That's where I think we're going to see those things happen, because the divide is getting to be so much that there's really no common ground left.
That means we're just going to have to, really, truly, at some point, one side is going to have to win. And what does that look like? And how does that do? And I'm very concerned about, if it's not on the battlefield, that it's going to be in the politics. And the blue cities are, killing it. Look at the election maps for New York State. And for California, they're pretty red until you get to the populous areas, which are blue. And so the blue guys are winning, you know? And so,
I think it was something 40% of New York voted for Trump, but they have, 2 representatives or something like that. Massachusetts has none. And you have a lot of these, and Illinois has none. And so, because of the way they've drawn, but look, I'm not a pessimist by nature or anything like that, but I think that what we will see is, Europe has always been a good indicator of where we're headed. They generally predate us by about 20 years or something like that, or they're a little 40 years. I think what you see in Europe now, I think that the pendulum is going to, I think Trump is standing in the breach right now because he's an anomaly. I think it will be interesting to see what happens in the midterms. It's going to be very interesting to me to see what happens in the presidential, because I truly believe that if the next presidential yields us a Democrat, and that Democrat will be far left, there is no way for any Democrat who is not far left to get the Democratic nomination. It can't happen anymore. And so if we see a far left Democratic president, coming out in the next cycle, if the Republicans don't hold the White House, if we see a situation where Democrats get back in control of Congress, you will see us move towards more like Europe, the insane anti-free speech laws, where if you make somebody unhappy on social media, you can be arrested. I think you are going to see us progress that way until I think you will see unfettered immigration. I think you will see a draining on social resources. I think you will continue to see higher taxation, less economic stability. I think you will see all of those things happen until to a point where Europe seems to find itself now, where there is a rebellion against that now.
So the pendulum swings.
So the pendulum swings. We're not to the point where the people I think a lot of times our politics is dictated by what affects us in our day-to-day. And I think until there's more people seeing in their day-to-day the impacts of a far-left policy, you're not going to see the pendulum swing. And now I think you're seeing it in Europe with their mass migrations, and people who are born in that country who are not, refugees or anything like that. They're swinging back. They're fighting back against those things. And so I think we have a long way for the pendulum to swing before that, but I think we get there very quick if Democrats take the White House in 2 years.
Well, you know what the Democrats haven't taken?
The Raleigh House. They're not in the Raleigh yet.
You know what they don't have?
What's that?
They don't have, after 140 years, they are no longer the top dog in party registration in North Carolina.
Really?
Yes.
Did it finally happen?
Yes. For the first time in North Carolina's history. even further than 140 years. Registered Republicans now outnumber registered Democrats.
Really?
Mm-hmm. According to the data from the State Board of Elections, the GOP surpassed Democrats on this past Saturday, with a total of 2.3 million registered voters, about 2,000 more than the Democrats.
How many independents?
See, that's the issue. So it's that Democrats are not registering Republican, they're registering independent. And the independent party is actually probably the largest party. So it's like a third, a third, a third. But yay for the good guys.
Yeah,
yay
chalk one up for the good guys.
Chalk one up for the good. And I think, and forgive me for not, I have looked at this earlier, but last time I had drilled down into this, it wasn't that Democrats were, like I said, Democrats weren't going into Republicans. It was that we have an influx of people who are coming in and they really haven't defined themselves by a party, because a Democrat in North Carolina is much different than a Democrat in Portland, Oregon, right? Or in New England or stuff like that.
Very much.
Folks are
maybe not in Charlotte, but everywhere else.
And Republicans too, right? You know, like a Northeast Republican may be a little different than maybe an Oklahoma Republican. So when folks are moving here, we have such an influx of folks. They're coming in as independents. And there are folks who are leaving out from the Democratic Party too. So that is really, it's not like the Republicans are, you know, killing it on our side. I think it's I think it's a kind of what we were talking about before. I think folks are not identifying with either party, and they do choose to be independent.
I agree. I think it's more of a situation where people become disenchanted with their own party, but they're not so disenchanted as they suddenly find themselves aligning with somebody else, because, you know, with the opposite party. I think it's just like, look, I'm disgusted with them. I can't even remotely consider myself one of them. So I'm just going to go independent.
But you know, is it some of it too the way our elections are set up, because we have open primaries? In other words, if you're independent, then you can pull a Republican or a Democrat primary ballot. So if I were, lifelong, well, I was a libertarian back in college, but I changed to...
Most kids in college.
I know. I was libertarian.
They were either socialist or libertarian, one or the other.
But I saw the light. I came to the Republican Party. But so if I were to live in Mecklenburg County, I would want my vote to count, right?
Yes.
So I would register as an independent so I could pull the Democratic ballot, so I could vote, because I know that election math is just, there's no way a Republican usually could win and that kind of stuff. So, but I wonder, like, because you're able to do that, other states you're not. You have a closed primary system. So you have to be registered with the party to vote in the party registration. And so I kind of wonder, is this independent party or these independent folks, is that a byproduct of having open primaries, or probably a little bit of both, maybe, right? Probably a little bit of that, a little bit of folks who just don't identify with either party.
Yeah, I think and honestly, I think it would be amazing to me if the majority of people registered independents knew that we had open primaries. Knew that they could pull either ballot until they get there. Because so many people who are registered don't vote. Right. But I think it's a mix. I think that there are definitely people in like deep blue areas or deep red areas that will identify as independent, so they can, you know, have a voice in whichever party is, you know, the most dominant in that particular area. So I think it's both.
Can I talk about Democrat violence without having a twinkle in my eye? Let's see. Can I do it? Can you see the twinkle in my eye on Facebook?
What are we talking about here?
Okay. So probably one of the strongest Democrat leaders in the House is a Mecklenburg County Democrat. And I love her because she's just a strong woman. Her name is Representative Carla Cunningham.
Okay.
Now, if you guys remember Carla Cunningham, she was the one who stuck with the Republican side on the ICE bill. And she broke party ranks because she believes in law and order. And she had a very impassioned speech, which she got national attention about. And so therefore now, Sheriff McFadden from Mecklenburg, it is all out there in the open. So it is Representative Carla Cunningham versus Sheriff McFadden.
Wow.
And it is getting heated. Now,
I put my money on her.
I put my money on Representative Cunningham. I've seen her work. I'm in the Mecklenburg delegation. I've been in some meetings with her. She is fierce, but God bless her, because when you break party lines, to stand up on something that you have as a principle. I saw it with Tricia Cotham, Representative Cotham. We've seen it with Carla Cunningham. We've seen it with Representative Michael Ray from the East. It is not fun. It's not easy to be a lone wolf, and that's where Representative Cunningham is at right now. So she, again, broke party lines to do that, and this week, she, along with 3 other folks that worked for Sheriff McFadden, have actually done and initiated the process to remove Sheriff McFadden from Mecklenburg County from office. So now it goes. I didn't even know there was a mechanism for that. There is a mechanism for that. Wow. And so it has to have registered voters in the county to complain, and the complaint has to have like several different merits, which they put it all out there. And so she is, and now it goes, I think, to District Attorney Spencer Merriweather and a few, I'm not sure exactly where it goes, but it will now be decided in the court. Wow. It is getting hot. Which in court? There. Court? I don't know. Sorry, I should have remembered that. But no worries. Yeah. But so McFadden, though, going back to, he has had a long history of embattled public opinion, especially from his subordinates. And we talked about on this show before when we had this first battle with ICE, which, again, I'm very excited about this too. Okay. Y'all, I pretend to be, above board and not get into like juicy gossip. But at the end of the day, I'm still a girl and I like gossip. And I also like a good show. Again, we talked about how I grew up on WWE or WWF at the time. So I like a good cage match as well. And we're getting ready to have like the best cage match at the end of this month. What's that? Okay. Representative Majority Leader Brendan Jones has called Sheriff McFadden to the carpet, and there will be an oversight committee hearing. And for anyone who saw the oversight committee hearing that he did against Chapel Hill District Schools, that you talk about viral. Like, I was out of the state when that took place. Yeah. And, a lot of times when you're out of state, your social media has your location and you'll start seeing things. Even out of state, I was seeing this and seeing it shared and stuff like that. If you haven't seen it, it's out there. Yeah. Quick Google will bring it up. But if, that was must-see TV. Calling them to the carpet on that, I can imagine what this is going to be. I'm so excited because McFadden does not back down. I mean, he's a sheriff and he does not back down, and he has got a lot to say. And I have been at the buzzsaw that is Representative Jones before, and it is not fun. I mean, he is strong and very charismatic, and I was going to ask him, I was like, Chairman, can I sit in on the meeting just to listen? I want to be there just to see what happens. But McFadden is embattled. I mean, he's had deaths in his jail. He has not cooperated with ICE. He's had subordinates who have left under a lot of terms of allegations. There were those letters. I mean, we have, I think his retention on employees is absolutely through just rock bottom. And on their exit interviews, it's about harassment in the workplace. I mean, he really has been embattled, but he is also elected. And it's very hard to get an elected out of office. It is not easy to get elected out of office. Absent voting them out. Yeah. Here comes Carla Cunningham, and he is up for re-election this time. So he's also saying that this is just a political stunt for the election to get all this other stuff. But I would argue that it takes a lot of guts. Your sheriff in any community is the most politically powerful person in that community. He just is. Yes. He knows everybody. He's probably helped most people out. And in order to stand up to a sheriff, that takes a lot of courage. It does. It absolutely does. Because he is or she, in some instances, are very, very politically powerful. And for these folks to come out against McFadden, it takes a lot of courage. There must be where there's smoke, there is fire. Yeah. And I believe that the house is on fire. It's tough to argue political motivation when your chief critic is of the same party. Yeah. It's very tough to make the argument that you're being that this is all politics. This is that mean, nasty Republicans, racist Republicans, because he's an African-American sheriff. You have an African-American Democratic woman coming after an African-American Democratic
sheriff.
Yeah.
So it's very difficult to claim politics in that when they're both of the same party.
Well, and to Representative Cunningham's credit, in her in statement, she said that during that ICE vote where she had where she had never flipped her vote, she stayed true all the way through, that he was in like an innuendo of, well, I just hope that nobody comes to your house because I'm not sure that anyone's going to be there to help you.
Wow.
I mean, that is coercion.
Yeah.
That is extortion. That is absolutely the dirtiest of the dirty. Like, you will not be physically protected unless you vote the way I want you to. That is criminal.
It is.
Now, unfortunately, from what I'm hearing, that is just her allegations against his. But if you back that one fact up with everything else that all of these other folks who worked with him are saying, it gives her statement a lot of credibility.
Yeah.
And good for Representative Cunningham, excuse me. Good for Representative Cunningham. Proud of her. I know it's tough. Prayers for her to continue her fight. And she's one strong lady, and I support her fully.
Absolutely. You're listening to We're Just Saying, and we'll be right back.
Kids across America are going to school hungry. Millions of kids every day. One simple thing can help change all of this for a hungry child in America. Good, healthy food and the energy it brings. With help from caring people across America, No Kid Hungry is providing healthy meals and hope to hungry kids so they can build better futures. To learn more about ending child hunger in America, go to helpnokidhungry.org today.
We all want more for North Carolina. More boundless views, more adventures in the outdoors, and more clean roads to get there. But to get more, we have to do less. Less littering, that is. Make it your nature to trash your trash and keep NC clean. And we'll all have more reasons to love North Carolina. Litter less, get more. For more on the 7 Outdoor NC Leave No Trace principles, visit OutdoorNC.com. Sponsored by the North Carolina Association of Broadcasters and Visit North Carolina, a part of the Economic Development Partnership of North Carolina in cooperation with this station.
We all play a role in keeping our community safe.
Every day, we move in and out of each other's busy lives.
It's easy to take for granted all the little moments that make up our everyday.
Some are good, for others not so much.
But that's life.
It's when something doesn't seem quite right that it's time to pay attention.
Because only you know what's not supposed to be in your everyday.
So protect your everyday.
If you see something suspicious, say something to local authorities.
Bravo, Brenda. You've always been a saver. Price matching your price matches. The self-proclaimed queen of extreme couponing. But this time, you've truly outdone yourself. By saving for this electric vehicle, you're locking in up to $1,000 a year in fuel and maintenance savings, which will leave you saying, cha-ching, every time you unplug. Good for your wallet, great for the planet. That's the power of EV. Sponsored by the NC Clean Energy Technology Center and the North Carolina Association of Broadcasters in cooperation with this station.
Welcome back to We're Just Saying with Senator Vickie Sawyer and David. Like to be part of the show, 704-873-9929. So getting back on our theme, we've been on a little bit of a federal government kick right now. There's not very much going on in Raleigh.
Well, I don't know. The House oversight, kudos to the House, man. They have been on it about oversight committee meetings. They're doing their property tax oversight. Of course, we just mentioned how Majority Leader Jones is bringing the McFadden up to for his non-cooperation rights and asking some things. They're actually called up the city of Charlotte as well for an oversight committee hearing. So Mayor Lyles and those folks are going to be talking about cats and the security on the transportation system. So there is all kinds of stuff at the House, and I love it. I love that they get in there and get their hands dirty and ask these questions, because that's what people want us to do, right? Yeah. I mean, I heard this week they had a oversight hearing about DEI in the city of Asheville and their reparations.
Oh, the reparations they voted
and
for?
And how they've been doing it. I mean, and like literally in the law, it says if you are not black, you are not able to get this money. And it's like that is absolutely against like the 14th Amendment of the U.S. Constitution. And so there's had an attorney these are the things that I guess I nerd out on because it's very interesting to me. I know it's not very interesting to everybody, but that's why you listen to our show. So you can hear about the city of Asheville and how they're discriminating against everybody.
Well, and it's funny to me because I think that in North Carolina in particular, and I've seen it I think it's a growing trend because so many of our bigger cities are so deep blue at this point. I mean, Asheville has been crazy town since really I lived there. It just has gone further crazy on the, it was crazy when I lived there.
Yeah.
It's really crazy now.
Yeah.
And it's like, I think that a lot of cities have taken the stance of they're going to do what they want to do and, sue us and find out, or make the state come in. And they know that the state in general is generally reluctant to act in any of these situations and stuff like that. But this is the reparations thing is so overt and just so, blanket completely unconstitutional and everything like that. But, I think that there's a lot of tact there where, people, I think they want to push the envelope as much as possible.
Sure.
They want to force the state to come in and take action. And I try to tell cities, and this is from the development world, and I try to tell people, it's like, look, folks, we are a property rights state. All right. Our government right now, run by Republicans minus the governor's mansion, are big on property rights. That's what we believe in. The more you try to constrain those things and the more difficult you make it to exercise property rights, the more you are going to provoke the state to take away your power. And we see it every single session. There is a bill that will get floated in some form or fashion that takes away things from cities and powers. Because, in our state, if you're going to nerd out, we're what's called a Dillon rule state. That means the city only has the powers that the state grants it. No other powers but what the state gives us, which also means that the state what the state giveth, the state can taketh away. And so when you provoke people who are of a certain political philosophy, and they are the ones who can tell you what to do. I mean, tomorrow you all could go into session and completely dissolve the city of Charlotte if you wanted to.
Yeah.
You are legally empowered to do that. No, you are.
Well, some debt service might be a little icky, but yeah.
But at the end of the day, cities are creations of the state.
Correct.
The state can take them out of existence.
And the federal government is supposed to be a creation of the state as well, but we've been living off of their drip down money for so long that we've allowed and so usurp. States are supposed to be the most powerful government in all of our America, and we have usurped our power to the feds for way too long. I think we need to go.
Well, and you see that. I think, and again, it's partly a little bit our fault because we're looking at about $50 million in transportation funding.
Great, that was a great lead.
See, look, I've not been on here in a month, but I still just jumping right back in with quality radio segments.
Awesome, that is great because in some regards, I just proved the point that I just disproved my point I was making because 50 mil. The federal Duffy said. Sorry. Anytime I see Sean Duffy, I think of Sean P. Diddy Combs or something like that. And I always have to double check.
Instead of Duffy, you want to say Puffy?
Yeah, I do.
I get it.
I mean, it's
not that there's any comparison, but Sean Duffy, Sean Puffy. I mean, I get it.
You get it?
I get it.
I know.
Knowing you, I get it. Knowing you, I get it.
It's Sean P. Duffy.
Yes.
I mean, come on.
Yeah, come on.
I mean
he's asking for it. I mean, to be fair, he kind of understands it, right?
But I'm proud of what they found, and something that I actually want to give a shout out to our local Republican Men's Club president, as well as he owns and is an independent trucker. He had brought this about a year ago to my attention, and we tried to get some things working through it, but how illegal immigrants were getting their license and their CDLs and keeping them, or even if they were legally here on a visa, they were getting their CDLs, but then they would stay active way longer. And so, again, the DMV is, we give them guidelines and money, but it's controlled by the governor's mansion. So there's only, we try, but there's only so much information you can get. Well, thankfully, the feds come in and said, let's look at this. Let's do an audit. And
so quick question. To get a CDL, you don't have to prove you're a citizen?
You do, or you have to be on a visa. And so then it has an expiration. But 54% of North Carolina's non-domiciled commercial driver's license, CDLs, reviewed by the feds, were issued illegally.
Wow. Now, they were issued illegally, not to illegals, or they were issued...
So issued illegally. So let's see. I guess this is a part of a nationwide audit of states' truck licensing system that the Trump administration is doing. Yay, Trump. And North Carolina failed to follow the rules. It's just shameful, he says. It's dangerous. And I'm calling on state leadership to immediately remove these dangerous drivers from our roads and clean up the system, is what Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy said. And if we don't, then they're going to yank back $50 million in funding for our roads.
Well, and we have a hard enough time with funding roads today anyway.
Yeah, I know. And again, this lackadaisical attitude about credentialing people who are here illegally. I mean, that's credential is not just for driving. I mean, it's also for all kinds of other services. Yeah. And let's talk about Social Security and Medicaid and healthcare and all these other stuff. As soon as the DMV credentials these people, then next thing you know, they have an open access to all of our services. And next thing you know, we have Somalis who have Leering centers.
Leering centers.
Yes.
You got to appreciate the fact, though, that Democrats will go to the mat talking about how important driver's licenses are for illegals and how it's critical, for them to be able to, they're fine getting them and they want to give them to them, everything like that. But the last thing in the world that we can do is require said license to vote. You got to appreciate the irony in that. Really, it's just like, oh yeah, let's make sure everybody, no matter who they are, they got to have a license. Let's make sure, oh yeah, you get a license, you get a license, you get a license. But don't you dare ask them to produce that to vote. That's a bridge too far. We can't have that. You got to appreciate the irony.
Well, so you asked a question, and I'm giving you an answer.
Please.
All right.
Did you grok it, or did you already have it in your?
I already had it in my show prep.
Look at that.
Although
you were anticipating the question.
I told you before the show. So this week, new me, new 2026. Now, by the time Super Bowl rolls around, I'll be eating chips and doing all the other stuff. But I'm going to enjoy the new me for right now. And so as I was reading the news, I was like, oh, this will be good for the show on Monday and Tuesday. Oh, this will be good for the show. And I plug it in. So I had all my show prep done way before today. It's boring now. I think I need to wait till I think I'm better under pressure.
I agree.
I think I'm better under pressure. I don't know why.
This is good prep. I mean, these are good topics.
Well, I know, but it's not as fun.
Well, yeah. I mean,
I know. I'm going to do better.
It's a little more fun when you do it 30 minutes before the show, I get the text. Like here's the show prep for today. That is, generally you do some good work under pressure.
I do.
You really do.
I do. So okay, well maybe I'll do better and other things like scheduling.
Yes.
Because we were supposed to record this yesterday.
Yeah. Yeah, you fumbled.
So I prepped everything except for when we were supposed to be here, even though you actually asked me.
You had it on my calendar. You sent me a calendar invite for us to pre-record yesterday. And I texted you on Wednesday and I said, where are we pre-recording? What are you talking about? We're doing it on Friday. I was like, you literally put it on my calendar. And then we get here today, and the poor folks here at the station are ready heading out. And we're walking in. It was like, y'all weren't supposed to be here today. But because they're fantastic.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for working overtime for us. Okay, so I do have the answer to your question.
Okay.
So what is the illegal? What makes the CDL illegal? Okay. So drivers whose license were valid long after their lawful presence in the U.S. expired.
Okay.
So they're here on a visa. It expired in September, and they've got 2 years driver's license. Come on. Why do they not? Okay.
I think in a computer system, the visa would be tied to the driver's license. And when the visa expires, said license would expire.
Again, they are working off of Coble.
Yeah.
1980 forgotten green screens. Oh, good Lord. And we've invested in them $174 million over the past 10 years to fix it. And they haven't.
But $174 million just doesn't go as far as it used to.
I know. I just got to get my dig in every time. It bugs me. It bugs me. Okay. It also is drivers who are ineligible from holding a non-domiciled commercial CDL. Okay. And drivers without North Carolina first verifying the individual's lawful presence in the United States.
So they didn't
54% is CDL.
Wow.
They were issued incorrectly.
Wow.
And you can register to vote at your local DMV too.
Yes, you can.
Isn't that a little spooky?
Oh, my Lord.
I should have worn my tinfoil hat today. But between Civil War and the DMV and Minnesota and it's just, it's getting hot in here. But anyway.
It is not tinfoil hat to understand that these things are calculated.
Yeah.
These things don't just happen. People don't just all of a sudden decide, hey, I know it's my job to verify your citizenship, but I'm not going to do it. They have been directed that way. They have a personal political belief that way. All of this is calculated. This is not oversight. 54% is not an oversight. 54%, someone directed them to behave in this manner.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. And that's not tinfoil hat to say that.
Right.
I mean, really, because no one is that incompetent. No one.
Yeah.
I mean, there's people that are incompetent. There's literally no one that could possibly be that incompetent.
Well, I kind of was because I got half of it right today. I got the show prep right, but I didn't get the...
Well, that's confusing a schedule. That's not confirming someone's citizenship. I mean, one's a little bit of a bigger deal than the other, if we're being honest, right? Hey, did I get the schedule right? No, you didn't. But, hey, I did confirm their citizenship, right? I did confirm their citizenship. I'll take the latter. Confirm the citizenship, get the schedule.
I know. I agree. It's just a complete dereliction of duty and something that is very important, which is safety, right? I mean, so how did they, if they don't even know that they live in North Carolina and they're getting a North Carolina driver's license, how do we even be sure that they pass the actual course?
Yeah.
I mean, that would be interesting for me, right? Because it is pretty hard to get your CDLs. I mean,
yes. There's a driving test involved.
Right.
Which makes it even worse when you think about what was going on in California with so many illegals and who had no idea how to drive. The guy from India who was here illegally got his CDL in California and didn't even know how to drive here and killed people. Was in a crash and killed people. It's just like, I don't think people think. I think a lot of times people's political orientation and stuff like that overrides their common sense.
100%.
And I think that's very dangerous.
I know. You know what else though is kind of interesting for me at a statewide level. So we went Fed first. Let's do state now. Our auditor Dave Bullock is just doing a fantastic job.
Yes,
between the House Oversight Committee and the Auditor's Office, I'm seeing some really good stuff come out. Now, Senate, we're going to, we're like the frozen chosen. We're there. We're going to make sure we're like the grown-ups in the room. But, I'm just loving seeing that all this other...
Frozen chosen.
Well, we are.
Why is it frozen? Is it just because...
I don't know. It's just a word it's a phrase I've always used.
Frozen chosen?
Because we're always quiet and we sit back and we watch and we ponder.
You all do ponder.
We discuss.
You are known to ponder.
We caucus.
Yes.
We think.
You cockeye.
We don't throw exciting meetings where we take books and throw them over and call them trash.
You do not do that.
We don't really have any, kind of craziness out there.
I'll be fair, the House is more interesting.
I know.
I would say the Senate is more...
Frozen,
the Senate is
chosen.
more... Well, frozen, yeah, but I'd say the Senate is more, I don't want to say stable, but, there's less action on the Senate side. It's much more on the House side.
100%.
Much more on the House side. Like, if I was ever to run for anything, I'd do the House. I couldn't make it in the Senate. I would need to be in the House, because that's where they have the fun.
So for me, the Senate is like looking at a calm lake. On the surface, it looks smooth, but underneath, there's all kind of action going on.
Well, that's generally the way it works.
Yeah.
In all politics and everything like that. But hey, real quick, I know we've only got a few minutes left, but I did want to ask you, you had lotto funds. And so I'm kind of interested, since I am a participant in the lotto from time to time. What's going on with the lotto?
First of all, you want to know what's going on with my lotto?
What? Well, I know you're not winning.
Lots more money into my DraftKings account.
Oh, no. Those bets on the Panthers winning didn't pan out. Yeah, finishing the season. By the way, Panthers playoff game tomorrow.
Yay. 4:30.
It feels a little anticlimactic.
I do have $10 on them winning the Super Bowl. That would be that I bet back in September.
So $10 for the Panthers to win the Super Bowl. What, $500,000?
No, $5,000. So
it might actually pay you more now. To be fair, no one thinks they're winning tomorrow. No one thinks they're winning tomorrow. Well, here's the deal. Here's why I think they may have a chance. It's supposed to be nasty tomorrow, raining and wet. That's how they beat them last time. They're playing the Rams. It was nasty and raining and everything like that. That's how they beat the Rams last time. So, possible chance, So you're saying there's a chance?
Saying there's a chance.
Maybe.
Well, I've got $7.56 in my DraftKings account. I might just put it all.
You're going all in, baby. All in on the Panthers.
But if you went all in on the North Carolina lottery, thinking that the money was going to go to education, Auditor Dave Bullock said, not so much. Let's look at this. So just recently, he came out with a report that said that just 16 cents for every dollar spent on lottery tickets or other games went towards public education in the 2025 fiscal year.
So the rest, I assume, goes to payouts and marketing.
Let's see. Well, yeah. So it's saying that the law requires that 35% of proceeds to go towards supporting public education in the state. So they're half.
Wow.
A little less than, yeah.
So whose fault is that? Is that the Lottery Commission's fault?
I don't know. I don't know whose fault it is, but I'm glad that it is being highlighted because the money that went to education in 25 was less than the money that went to education in 24 and less than in 23. So I'm not sure.
Well, weren't you all still spending COVID money in 23 and 24?
Yeah, possibly so. But, I mean, it is still kind of stinky, right?
It is.
Because,
well, 16 cents, yes. That's, I mean, if 35% is supposed to go. So now, to be fair, I play the lottery obviously for the education factor. That's the only reason I do it. That's where I don't want to win. I am virtuous. That's the only reason I do it because I feel like I'm contributing to education.
So then why don't you just put the 16 cents to your local PTO?
Because I trust my government to take care of me. I trust my government to treat my tax dollars and my lotto money fairly and equitably and by strict letter of the law. That's why I do it.
Well, speaking of about them treating your money fairly, they also mentioned, and this is something you too can nerd out on the Division of Accountability, Value, and Efficiency website.
Also known as Dave.
That's also another.
See, the Democrats can never take control of Raleigh again because they'd get rid of Dave.
I know.
And that would just hurt my heart.
I know.
That would hurt my heart. Dave is the greatest thing ever.
I know. It is. It's kind of like the North Carolina version of Doge, and it's led by State Auditor Bullock. And
State Auditor Dave Bullock.
Dave Bullock. I love it.
Just a coincidence.
Just a coincidence. Kind of like when when I first started in insurance, the insurance commissioner forever was Jim Long, and when you called the Department of Insurance, it was like 1-800-JIM Long.
That's awesome. I love that. That's back when you actually focused on the letters on the number.
Yeah. That actually matters.
Now the only time I ever do that is 1-877 cars for kids.
Yeah, that's a good jingle.
That is a good jingle. It sticks with you.
It does. It's like an earworm. Yeah. Well, so Dave Auditor has done and uncovered something that has really been something that sticks in my craw in most appropriators in the General Assembly for a long, long time. So every time, or it feels like almost every time, that you say you want to implement a new program. So the General Assembly says, hey, I want to implement this standard for whatever. DHHS is famous for this. So, you want to make sure that foster kids have car insurance. Okay? They'll say, well, that's going to cost you $2 million, but I need 30 full-time staff. They call it FTE. I need 30 full-time staff to administer the program. I mean, every single time. Anytime there's any change to anything, the answer from the state agency is always cash and FTEs. But why is it FTEs, right? Why is it FTEs? Well, it's something that we know that not a lot of people talk about, and it's called lapsed salaries. So in budgeting, when you fund positions from the General Assembly, they look at an agency and they have given them not money, they give them money based on the number of employees they have. And those are called FTEs. Now, per se, that agency, let's just use the foster kids insurance thing, and we give them $2 million and 30 full-time employees to fund those positions. Well, let's just say they didn't hire anybody, or maybe they hired 4 people. Maybe they hired 5 people to administer the program. But then you have 15 left out. Well, those 15, if they are vacant, are called a lapsed salary. And does the money come back to the General Assembly? No. Where does that money go, David?
It stays with them, I believe.
It stays with them. Yeah. And what do they get to do?
Party. Vegas.
Now, two of the agencies that have the most lapsed salaries at the state level is JPS and also DHHS. And they'll argue that they use that extra money for overtime because they don't have enough staff or that they need cell phones.
Because you didn't hire the people you were supposed to hire.
Well, they say it's because we underfund each position.
Underfund. How do you underfund?
How about this?
So what I'm hearing is that you allot a certain amount of money for these roles.
Mm-hmm.
They advertise said roles at a higher number than what you allot to them. And then they use the extra money from not filling roles to pay overtime and more salary that they weren't funded for to begin with.
So how about, right, exactly. So why not just transparency in budgeting?
Yeah.
Like, why don't you just say, like, I would...
It's amazing to me that my lotto money is so well handled.
Yeah.
Because all these other things are just a disgrace. But at least my lotto money's well handled.
Yeah.
16 cents of it anyway.
Well, the amount of lapsed salaries, and you too can look at it at the Division of Accountability, Value, and Efficiency, the DAVE website, and it will give you an idea what this is. So these are lapsed salaries. So again, I think we talked about this on the show maybe a year or so ago. I think we need to go back to zero-based budgeting.
Agree.
And I think we need to look at these lapsed salaries. And it's not that we don't have enough money for state employees per se. It's that we are misappropriating those funds, and we should collapse these lapsed salaries and then right size the individual paycheck and then have transparency. So if you need overtime, then there's a line item for that. If you need cell phones or equipment, then there's a line item for that. I mean, that is kind of what we need to do, but unfortunately, these budgets have just gotten so large over time, it's hard to chase that rabbit hole everywhere you go.
You know what I would love to know? I would love to know, where is the state tax money? Obviously, it's in a bank account somewhere, right? Some bank has North Carolina's tax money.
Okay.
Does each individual department have their own bank account that is then funded? Or is it just a computer system where you put it in their budget number, right, their line item, and they know they have that to spend, but it all rolls up to the ultimate state bank account for withdrawal?
Okay, so I don't know about the actual cash. So there is the Office of State Budget Management. And so they're the ones, after we pass the budget, then they are the ones who go through and they do the certified budget. And then those people are the ones who will allocate now that is all paper trail. I don't know where the actual, I'm going to get the money that for those kind of things.
When you take it out of my check or out of my account, or when I pay it into the Department of Revenue for North Carolina, where's it going and does it stay there? That's I'm genuinely curious. Because our budget is what, $100 billion or something?
Oh no, so for 2 years is $36 billion, but that's just from the state. That's not including what comes down from the feds, and the feds doubles that. Yeah. So you're looking at a $74 billion budget.
Right? Where's that sitting? I mean, is it sitting in like a SoFi account getting 6%? Or something like that. I mean,
the treasurer, we could ask the treasurer. Yeah, maybe I should invite him onto the show.
As your constituent, I'd like to know, if you can find this out for me, where's the money?
Why don't you just grok it?
Because I'd be surprised if Grok knew.
But do it. You don't think Grok would know? I mean,
I'm not sure.
Grok knows everything else, man. I'm telling you.
It does, but I mean, if you don't know, I don't sure that's something they advertise publicly.
Right.
Hey, everybody, Bank of America has all our state money.
Yeah.
I don't think that's something they really advertise.
Well, I do know, remember that state...
Of course, there's actually no cash there either. It's all digital these days.
State Treasurer Briner found that fund that had investment fund that had over $250 million that they basically just had not read the disclosures that they have to by law mail to them every year. For the past 15 years, it was just in an orphaned account sitting somewhere.
Well, I read an article not too long ago that DOJ had found a guy in a contractor in the departments that had been getting a pay increase every year for the last 30 years. He'd been a contractor at one of the departments at the federal government. Got to pay, and they were paying this guy something like $450,000 a year, and he never showed up for work. Nobody could find him. Nobody knew what he was doing.
So
they
forget the Somali daycare.
30 years.
No, forget
that job.
Yeah, forget the Leering Center.
Yeah.
We need to go for that job.
Exactly.
We need to go.
Probably more difficult to find us if we're just a random person on the payroll, right?
Well, last but not least, I do want to give a shout out to some administrators at we had Governor Fraley on here before, alumni of UNC Chapel Hill, and I want to give a shout out to their leadership because they're making some hard choices, not without protest, and so that actually got in the news. But the shout out is for this, and I've said on the show that I go Niners. I love my institution. I pay ECU money. You pay, for a college degree, so we're not throwing off. But there are some degrees that these colleges are offering that just don't have a return on the investment, right? So Chapel Hill did the hard look, and they found some of those degrees, and they are phasing out over time, and the time is pretty nigh about what these are going to be. So it's the Daily Yar Hill had reported that the the Center for Slavic, Eurasian, and East European Studies will be phased out. That will be one that's gone. The Carolina Asia Center will be gone. The Center for Middle East and Islamic Studies will be gone. The Institute of the Study of the Americas and the Center for, that will be gone. So those programs will be, I guess, maybe collapsed and go into minors or into concentration areas, but no longer be a major area of study. Now, not to be outdone, some hundreds of protesters gathered on the campus on Wednesday in opposition to these reports of the land of 6 university study centers that focus on international history, politics, and cultures. But I say...
Well, I'm sure they didn't realize that there was such a groundswell of support for Slavic studies in Eastern Europe. I mean, that's a devoted base out there of people who believe that that's necessary. So I'm not surprised people showed up. Slavic studies. Really?
I mean...
Because we need those.
Yeah, I know. I mean, those are hard choices. UNC Greensboro has done some things like that. And so I understand that folks are emotionally attached to certain sort of things. And good for you for protesting. But good for Chapel Hill. I mean...
Save our Slavs.
Oh, that's going to get hate mail. That's going to get some hate mail.
Par for the course, right? I mean, I got back. I got to
get back into it. I know. Well, David, it was so good having you back.
It's great being back. I'll miss next week. Back the following week, Lord willing, and the creek don't rise. But go Panthers tomorrow. Hey, everybody, have a great weekend. Thank you for listening.
Say what you want.
Thank you for tuning in to We're Just Saying with Senator Vickie Sawyer and co-host David Coble. We appreciate your time and input as we discuss the issues shaping North Carolina. Stay informed, stay engaged, and we look forward to having you join us again next week for more updates and insightful conversations. Take care and keep participating in the conversation.
Real Country is 550 AM WAME, 92.9 W225BD, Statesville.
WAME and Bunch Johnson Funeral Home are proud to present our national anthem, Bunch Johnson, where every detail matters. Call them at 704-873-7223 or stop by their location at 705 Davie Avenue, Statesville for your personalized experience.
Oh, sing, and you sing by the dawn's early light. For so proudly we hailed at the twilight's gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight. Oh, the ramparts we were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets regular among birds singing still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave? Oh, the land of the free and the home of the
With SRN News, I'm Rich Thomason in Washington. Venezuela has released a number of political prisoners and activists. As a result, President Trump says there will be no second wave of attacks on Venezuela. President Trump will be meeting today with top energy industry executives at the White House. They'll discuss investment to revive oil-rich Venezuela's long-neglected energy infrastructure.